everyone, here's another Comic Clerks video, and I'm here to talk to you about Arrow the Candidate. This video will contain spoilers, so I'm just letting you guys know beforehand. Alright, so we start the Candidate seeing the team taking out a group of ghosts. You know, everyone is holding their own. We even see an awesome leap from Canary, where Green Arrow shoots a line, which Canary zips down on. You know, it was pretty awesome. You know, Felicity, you know, she beeps in asking for a code name. She wants a code name, and Oliver tells her they'll talk about it later. She needs to be focused on finding the bomb. You know, the team is handling everything, you know, taking out the ghost, and while all this is happening, Oliver is watching Thea. You know, Thea's out there, she's being ruthless, she's taking everybody down, really no mercy in her takedowns at all. You know, so this is when Felicity, she beeps back in, she's found the bomb, and Green Arrow locates it and deactivates it, and tells Felicity to have Diggle come down there to dismantle it. This is when Felicity suggests that Diggle needs a code name also, so she is intent on getting everybody a bunch of code names. Alright, back at their hideout, you know, Oliver lectures Thea on using too much force, and Thea tells him she's been dealing with the ghost longer than him, she can handle it, and they have to meet Miss Danforth, you know, and her daughter, and they can sit there talking, or she can go take a shower and get ready for that. She heads out, and Felicity is so excited because it's her first day, you know, of being the boss at Palmer Technology. This is, you know, we get a flashback to the island, and the guy that has Oliver at gunpoint, you know, they get into a tussle. Oliver, you know, takes him out, stabs him, and this is when he sends a message to Waller, who tells him that he needs to infiltrate the group on the island. Flashback is done. We get to Oliver and Thea, and they're having breakfast. You know, I guess Jessica Danforth is, you know, one of their parents' good friends, and she reveals that she will be running for mayor. You know, we all know this is not a good idea. Everybody that's run for mayor or was mayor died. You know, we know this isn't a good idea. Oliver and Thea know this is a good idea, and they try to convince her of this, but, you know, she's not having it. All she wants from them is their support. At Palmer Technologies, Felicity meets with the board, and, you know, they're a bunch of buzzkills. You know, Felicity gets the reports and sees that the company isn't doing so well. You know, after last year and all that, you know, who can blame it, you know. But anyways, you know, the board tells her that they have a plan to, you know, to make sales go up to save the company. And the plan pretty much, you know, they have a guy named Mr. Holt, and he came up with a plan that is pretty much workforce reduction, firing people, and Felicity isn't on it. She's not firing anyone. She's gonna cut the board's bonuses before she fires anyone. And she's serious about this. She's not firing anyone. Before she has to fire anyone, the board is gonna lose some money. So they're not happy about that at all. And they tell her if she doesn't start making good decisions, that she's gonna lose Palmer Technologies. At the press conference with Jessica Danforth, she's announcing her candidacy. You know, and Oliver and Thea are keeping an eye on her, and they pretty much have the right idea because gunfire starts to come out. You know, Thea runs after the shooter, and Oliver goes to protect Jessica. And, you know, Thea finds that the shots were just a distraction. There was no ghost up there. The gun was, you know, it was automated. It was shooting by itself. Jessica is being escorted by her security, which we find out is an imposter who has a very impressive electric baton. And he shocks one of the other, you know, security who tries to stop him. Oliver catches him off guard, and the imposter runs. Oliver pursues him to an alley, you know, but he gets away because Oliver gets hit by a car and, you know, can't really much catch him after that, after you get knocked head first, you know, in front of somebody's windshield. Alright, back at the Arrow Cave. You know, should I call it the Quiver? You know, Harley Quinn's, you know, the quiver is way better than the arrow cave. But anyways, the team is going over the shooting, and Diggle comments that it had to be a record, on the time to come to assassinate a mayor or a candidate for a mayor. This had to be the record. So Laura explains that her dad has Jessica under protection. Looks like the assassin was sloppy and left evidence, which is not the case. He left cryptic evidence. His fingerprints don't really match. Felicity says his fingerprints are a jigsaw puzzle. So Oliver goes with Thea's idea of backing up, the SCPD. And, Oliver goes to offer his help to Captain Lance. Lance denies, his help and implies that they need the real hero. So we get another flashback, and on the island, Oliver finds the camp he's supposed to be infiltrating. He dirties himself up like he's been on, that he's been there for a while. And he takes the body, lays him over a grenade, and, pretty much blows him up. Goodness, man. Just back in the day, Oliver was just ruthless. He just blew up a dead body. But all right, I'll go with it. All right, at Palmer Technologies, Felicity and Holt are arguing about the downsizing idea, where she finds out it was the board that made Holt come up with the downsizing idea. And Felicity has pretty much dealt with the task of firing people, and she is not happy about this at all. We cut to a scene where Laurel and Diggle are, they're on a stakeout. And while Laurel is trying to figure out what Diggle is hiding, Diggle finally tells her, about that he's been investigating his brother's death for 2 years. And he found out that the Hive was the group, and we know Dark is leading the group. And, Laurel asks why he never told anyone. He tells her that it was a family matter, and, she should understand that. And Laurel tells him from her experience, going at it alone is not the way to go. Alright, so we get to a warehouse, and we see the assassin being applauded by Dark, which is a sarcastic, applaud, because he is not happy at all. And we found out the assassin, is Lonnie Mackin. And if you don't know who he is in the comic, he is Anarchy. And Dark is upset that he missed the target, and he pretty much fired Lonnie. Lonnie asks for another chance, and Dark warns him that he will only get one more chance. Alright, so back at the quiver. Alright, I'm going to use the quiver. Felicity is reconstructing the evidence, Lonnie left behind. She finds out that he's been at one of Palmer Tech's paper mills. So Oliver and Thea go to investigate, and they ask around, and Thea starts, interrogating one of these guys, and she pretty much breaks his arm to get him to talk. So Oliver yells at her to leave, and we get back, to the quiver, and Felicity, has put Lonnie's fingerprints all together, and they come up with an ID for him. And this is when Thea walks in. They come in arguing, and he's lecturing about her technique, and they get into a fight. And Thea's ruthless. She takes down Ollie with the quickness. I don't know if he was holding back, but Thea was ruthless with it. She won't let him. She won't let him talk to him like that. So, they start to, Oliver starts to apologize, and, he explains the effects of the Lazarus Pit, and, he was hoping that it didn't affect Thea, it wasn't the way that it hadn't affected her at first, but he sees that now it's affecting her. And Thea tells him not to judge her. He's the one that left her. And, Laura wants to know what's going on. And Diggle's wondering why it's just showing up now. And, or it could be that, in my opinion, Thea lost her parents. Roy left. She did die. her dad made her kill one of her friends, and then her brother left her again. You know, he leaves all the time. And, you know, so... And this time he left to have a new life with Felicity. You know, he really wasn't... He was really worried about himself. So, yeah, Thea has anger issues. I think, you know, they're focusing a little too much on the Lazarus Pit. There's a lot of things that have gone on that don't need the Lazarus Pit for Thea to freak out. Alright, so back on the island, soldiers come to Oliver's location and he tells them who he is and that their friend was killed by a mine. So they plan on taking him to someone named Ryder to deal with him. Alright, we don't know who this Ryder guy is yet, but that's who they're taking him to. Alright, at Palmer Tech, Felicity, you know, she's still firing people, and now the guy Holt who came up with the plan is on the list of being fired. Man, the board is dirty. They asked him to make a plan to save the company, but, you know, he was on the list of getting fired. It's like, goodness, man, they ruthless with it. So we get to the SCPD, and Oliver is trying to convince Jessica, you know, to drop out of the race. And, you know, Jessica wants to inspire the city. You know, she wants to stand up to criminals like Green Arrow. You know, and Oliver asks, where is Jessica's daughter? She says that she's at the library and has a protection detail. That is not the case because the officers that are on this protection detail have been taken out. So Jessica goes on the news and broadcasts asking for her daughter back. You know, Oliver gives the information he has to Lance about Lonnie and tells him that they need more help. Which Captain Lance declines again. Does not want Oliver's help. Alright, so another flashback back to the island. You know, Oliver meets Ryder, who recognizes him easily. You know, he's Oliver Queen. He's somewhat of a celebrity. You know, Ryder tells him that he can't send him home, but he has no reason to kill him, and because Oliver has survived on the island for 3 years, he can use Ollie's help, so he offers Ollie a job. You know, since the dead soldier, you know, Oliver just takes his place. Alright, so we get to what looks like a closed restaurant, you know, and Lonnie is meeting with Dark, who wants to know where Jessica's daughter is. He tells Dark it's the perfect plan to get, you know, Jessica to drop out of the race. And Dark tells him he knows why Rick Penzola banished him. He believes Lonnie is sloppy and that all he represents is anarchy. Anarchy, everybody. He just had to drop that. You know, and their business was over. You know, he was done with Lonnie. So at Laura's apartment, you know, Thea and Laura are watching, you know, Jessica's news broadcast when Laura starts asking questions about what was going on, and Thea comes and, you know, she tells her about her dying and Oliver bringing her back to life. And, you know, they pretty much go into that whole spiel because, you know, I guess Laura didn't know anything about it or nobody told her about it, what happened there. So we get to Captain Lance, and he is furious with Dark and wants to know where, you know, Jessica's daughter is, Madison is. You know, he tells the Dark that he's out. He doesn't want anything to do with that anymore, and he's out pretty much. So Dark threatens Laurel and hands Lance the location of Madison. And while he's doing all this, he tells Lance that the next time they meet, he better mind his tone. So, you know, back at the quiver, I love saying that. Oliver and Felicity, you know, are talking about the stuff that's happened since they got back. You know, it hasn't been a cakewalk. They've had all kinds of issues coming at them, and, you know, they're trying to get it together. This is when Lance calls and gives, you know, the address that Dark gave him to Oliver, the location, you know, of Lonnie and Madison. And we see Lonnie with Madison, and he's, you know, you know, being all nice to her, telling her, you know, if she doesn't tell anybody that he will let her go. You know, basically he's toying with her and he breaks her pinky finger. Goodness, I even felt it, you know. Ugh. This is when the team drops in from the ceiling. Lonnie makes a run for it. Ollie and Thea pursue, you know, Lonnie, and Laurel and Diggle, you know, they take care of Madison and get her out of there. This is when Lonnie sneaks up on Thea, you know, and shocks her with his baton. And, you know, Oliver and Lonnie, you know, engage, you know, they're fighting. And, you know, Lonnie's got some skills, man. He's no slouch. So Lonnie gets the upper hand and, you know, he shocks Oliver. This is when Thea comes in and, you know, she's really upset that he got behind her. And, you know, she starts getting the upper hand, knocks Lonnie around, takes his electric baton and shocks him with it, which sets him on fire. This is when Oliver shoots an arrow up to the, you know, one of the fire extinguishers. Not a fire extinguisher, goodness. What's the word I'm looking for? The pipes up there that come on, sprinklers. Goodness, sprinkler system. You know what I'm talking about, you guys. This is when a fire starts, you know, they come on, they start spraying water down. Don't laugh at me right now. I know what these are. I know what these are. But anyways, this puts Lonnie out, and, you know, him and Thea share a look. You know, Thea's, you know, she's kind of upset. She thought she could handle it. So back at this SCPD, mother and daughter are reunited. Oliver wants to know if she is okay, and Lance tells her that the news wants a statement. Jessica is withdrawing her candidacy for mayor, and, you know, that pretty much is what they wanted, so I guess no reason to kill her now. Lance is not okay with it. Not okay with how Lonnie was taken down, and make sure Oliver knows if he could arrest him, he would. Same threat, different season. Alright, so back on the island, we see workers picking plants while the soldiers are policing them. Then one of them collapses and the soldier tells them to get back to work. One worker yells at him and tells him what will happen when all of them die from heat stroke. And this is when Oliver comes up with a, you know, fresh haircut and all that, and tells them to get back to work. So it looks like he's infiltrated the group pretty well. At Palmer Tech, you know, the board is pissed off with Felicity because she stopped firing people and decided she was going to hire them all back. This is when she brings Holt in and tells the board that he has a project that will make them tons of money. And the board says she has 6 months to show something because that's when the next board meeting is. And so we find out that Felicity is bluffing, and they have 6 months to put something together. Good job, Felicity. You put Holt in a certain predicament that he has to find out. He has to figure out something for all of them so everyone can keep their job in 6 months. So, I guess they'll, you know, figure something out. You know, it's Felicity. She'll figure something out. At Laurel's apartment, you know, Oliver comes to check up on Thea, you know, because she's staying there now. Oliver apologizes to her for not telling her about the pit, then telling her that they will face everything together from now on, pretty much. This is when Laurel pops in and tells Oliver that she suggests that her and Thea should go to a spa, you know, for the weekend to get away to clear their heads. Oliver thinks this is a great idea. You know, Laurel asks him if John and him can get along while they're gone. You know, Oliver says hopefully they don't kill each other, which he's joking. You know, he's joking. This is when he leaves, and, you know, Thea says she doesn't really want to go to a spa. You know, Laurel says they're not going to a spa. They're going to Nanda Parve to get answers. You know, Thea wonders why they're not telling Oliver, and Laurel says, you know, that's not the only reason they're going, pretty much. So we cut to a scene, you know, this is a crime scene that's being investigated, and it seems like Lonnie has escaped. And, you know, he's left the Anarchs anarchy symbol, you know, and blood on the truck. It's like they, you know, we love the Batman villains in Arrow. We just love them, you know, you guys. But anyways, you know, we get to Oliver and Felicity, and, you know, he tells her that Lance and Jessica said that the city needed hope, and Green Arrow couldn't really do that. So he decides that he's going to run for mayor. If you didn't see this coming, you probably haven't really read a Green Arrow comic, because he becomes mayor, and it was pretty obvious that this is where they were headed to. So this is almost the end of the episode, and we get to, you know, a graveyard, and we find out the reason, you know, Laura wants to go to Nana Parvati. We see them digging up Sarah. So I'm guessing, you know, this is how we get the White Canary, and this is how she comes back. Because, you know, Laura, she'll do anything to save her sister, like Oliver would do anything to save Thea. So that was the end of the episode, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. You know, leave some comments in the comment section. I'll probably be doing a lot more this weekend. I've been doing a lot of catch up on some episodes. So you guys have a great weekend, you know, and you guys enjoy. See you guys.